Listen, I don't know how algorithms work, but have you noticed the shift that's happening on YouTube? It's about 3 months ago, I started noticing this new wave of creators I've never seen before. They've probably been doing it for a while, I just never seen them. And they were making cinematic vlogs for one. For two, the editing was almost non-existent. They just were changing shots. They were telling a story, and that's when it hit me. They're not doing anything incredibly special, and in fact, they're doing less than everyone else, but they're doing one thing that we're not. At least I'm not. Telling a story. We are suckers for a really, really good story, including myself. There are content creators that I'll probably link below that I'll watch good 10, 20-minute video of theirs, and honestly, they're not even saying anything. I'm used to the Alex Hormozy content that is just value packed and it has to be something or else don't post it at all. It has to prove that you made $1 million or more for you and your clients. But listen, not them. They're simply telling a story. And that's when it hit me. The major problem that I have with my content, the problem that I had for a very long time, is that I don't know how to tell a story. So when I got started on YouTube, just like every other business coach at the time, we just followed along with what everyone else was doing. That makes sense. I just rap like Eminem. We just did what everyone else was doing. And the biggest one, like I mentioned earlier, was Alex Hormozy. And Alex Hormozy, he's so brilliant, value-packed. And I just said, you know what? I'm just going to mimic what he's doing. But there's a major problem with that. I'm not Alex Hormozy. And neither are you. And the truth is, we're never going to be able to compete at the same level as he can, right? I don't have millions of dollars. I didn't make so-and-so millions of dollars. Like I'm drastically different than Alex Hormozy. Luckily, around the same time that I'm looking at all these other content creators and honestly getting jealous of the fact they get to show up, tell a story, they bring the audience along with them, and they're doing 10 times, 20, 30 billion times better than me, and they seem to be enjoying it. Now, luckily for me, I was also happened to be reading around the same time this book called The Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rick Rubin. So I'm sitting here reading this book, right? And again, I'm seeing all these creators and I'm noticing there's a huge difference between what they're doing and what I'm doing. They love it. I hate what I'm doing and I want to make a change. And so I got this book because, you know, Rick Rubin, if you don't know who he is probably one of the most brilliant music producers there are. He just has a way to bring out the best creativity there is for other artists. And within the first few pages of this book, I'm not joking when I say probably like the third page in, he says this and it blew me away. He said, nothing in this book is known to be true. It's a reflection of what I've noticed, not facts as much as just thoughts. Now, for anybody else, that probably isn't that big of a deal. But for me, it changed everything. It changed everything because I was so focused on having to bring the facts. I had to bring the value. It's something that constantly I'm hearing other content creators. It has to be entertaining. It has to be this. It has to be value driven. And instead, what I'm seeing though, and what I'm actually consuming and enjoying is just people sharing their perspective. So after reading the book, I make this giant pivot in my business. I wasn't standing in front of my desk the whole time just saying 5 ways that you can grow your business. Instead, I started just saying, look, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I just noticed that when I made these changes, here was the outcome. I started to just share my perspective. And what was interesting was how quickly it found an audience, how quickly that I was getting more thoughtful comments, how quickly people were actually saying that they were getting something out of it, when in fact, I was just doing less. If you go back to some of my other content, some of that content took 20, 30, 50 hours in some cases to edit. These videos that I do now take me 1 to 2 hours at most. There were 2 major shifts that I made. And listen, this is not a hack. This is not nothing. This is just something that I realized that I did that made the content creation process a lot more enjoyable. And the first is just sharing my perspective and not trying to tell anybody how to live their life. The moment that I did that, the weight came off and I simply was just sharing. That was it. The second thing kind of helps along with the storytelling piece. Now, again, I'm not saying I'm a really good storyteller. In fact, I'm still learning. But there was something that I did that helped my brain at least compartmentalize where I was going. It has to go somewhere. And you know, Casey Neistat said something in a video once that kind of blew me away. And if you don't know Casey Neistat, he's kind of the godfather of vlogging on YouTube. And he said, every story has to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. Most of the time that I was making content in the past, there was no beginning, there was no middle, there was no end. It was just me talking about 5 things that, again, that can grow your business. Now, sometimes when I start rambling and I get in the zone, I lose sight of that. So to help me with that, to help make sure that I stay structured, at least in that, is changing locations. So you notice in the last couple of videos I did this. I changed location depending on where I'm at in the story. So in the beginning, I was outside. In the middle, once I'm shared that point of view, I move over to the next section, which was over there, and now we're towards the end and I'm filming here. This isn't rocket science, people. This isn't a crazy hack, but it helps me compartmentalize the points. So that way I'm not rattling off a bunch of stuff before I stop and I slow down. Now, look, I don't know if YouTube is actually changing. And I said before, I don't know how algorithms work. And I'm willing to bet that most likely I'm just seeing all these other creators because that's what I'm engaging in. That's what I'm actually enjoying. Sometimes finding your voice, finding your thing on YouTube starts off by mimicking other creators. And for me, I was mimicking, for me, the wrong creators. And in the past, I was mimicking the content that I was watching. Fast edits, super complex. Obviously, it took hours to do. I wasn't really enjoying it. It wasn't until I found these type of creators that I said, you know what, this feels more like me. So is YouTube changing? I don't know if YouTube is changing. I can tell you one thing, it's definitely changed me. It's made me want to be a better storyteller. It's made me want to share my perspective instead of just hounding people on how they can change their life and how they should change their life. It's made me want to slow down, tell a decent story, and make something that I would want to watch. I think the most wild part about this whole experience of creating content on YouTube has been this. It doesn't matter if one person sees my videos or it could be a million. And regardless, it still hits the same. It still blows me away that people are watching my videos because they want to hear a story, because they want to hear my perspective. In the past, they were the few people that were watching were just watching because I was giving some hack. But I want to hear from you. Is your algorithm changing? Are you seeing a different type of content here on YouTube? And most importantly, what do you think about it? With that being said, if you ever need help making content, if you ever need help to structure it, to keep track of all the content you're doing across platforms and help you with this structure that I talk about, I'll put a link down below for the Notion template that we made. I'm really proud of it. It's a thing that I use constantly. It's helped me kind of really structure my videos a little bit better and not lose all of the ideas that I come up with. But like I said, go check that down below. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.